Hello, friends. Happy Friday night. Hola, chicas and amigas and chicos. How are you guys? Hello, hello. Hi, Irene and Lori and Kelly. Hi, Julie. How are you guys? Happy Friday. So, like always, there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll just wait until I see somebody talk to me and we'll be good. How are you? As always, I hope you had a wonderful week. This was a full week, but it feels like it was started and over in the blink of an eye. Started and over in the blink of an eye. Hi, Natalie. How are you? Hello, Flora. Oh, so good to see so many of you guys. I'll wait for you guys to hop on. We'll see what our turnout is for tonight. It's going to be fun and very relaxed. So thank you. I got my hair done today. And I have to say, I'm absolutely loving it. And I know some of you don't love when I do the silver, but it'll wash out and it'll go to very, very white blonde. But I laugh because a lot will be like, I don't like when you do this silver. Riley told me that too, but then he said he liked it. And I've been going to the same hairstylist. 25 years, I think. So we had a wonderful couple of hours today doing my hair because it takes a long time. And it was good for the soul. And I don't know if you have a stylist who it was good for the soul. We laughed and she's doing Gina Libby with me. So we talked a lot about how empowered we are and how good we feel. And so we had a long conversation. Yes, Mari, you have silver hair too. But yes, I love it. And I make it this color, right? But super love the haircut. Just feels good, right? Heather says she has her Fernwood kit ordered. Yay! Yes, you guys did a great job on that. Vicki, my Doodlebug kit. Oh, just a second. Arrived today. Yay. And your new puppy arrived too. Congratulations, Irene. What did you call your new puppy? That will be so good for you to have a friend to snuggle and love. It is going to be the best medicine, I think, right? So Vicki B and your new puppy, we will make your weeks better. Gray fox, yeah. Arr. But I guess a fox doesn't do that. That would be a cougar. So maybe, right? After lockdown, you're waiting to get your hair cut. Yes, Poppy. That's what my friend Michelle was saying, that for New Zealand, they're looking at like Christmas time. And I don't know, in Australia, how is that? I was watching the news and they were talking about it. So, and then we have where they figure our mask mandate will be gone by March. And pretty much they're weaning us out now of different COVID protocols. So that's good. I don't even know if I'll ever feel safe not wearing a mask, right? So it'll be interesting. I was thinking about that, and with being like living through a pandemic is the emotional baggage of it all, right? So it'll be crazy. We'll see how it goes. Hello, Robin. I see one of my Robins is here, and hello, Valerie, hanging on Facebook for a change. I love it. Hi, Kari. How are you guys doing? Some states in Australia are out of lockdown. I guess it just depends on what your numbers are, right? Vicki, what was the question? How do you determine which collections you make a mixed media background for? American Crafts determines. I don't get to determine it. But they see their thought. So the thought process is, well, we don't want to do too many of them because we want people to use them, but they don't reprint them. So once it's sold, it's gone. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it. I'm like, that would be a great concept if it was evergreen like foundations paper, but it's not. So there is not, maybe I'll look at one for next fall. Maybe I'll look at one for next fall, but there's not one in, I have very exciting to test is my new collection that will come out in the spring. I have the stamps and stencils here. They all arrived today for me to test. So It is very fun and very colorful. I think you guys will love it. Totally different, but similar. Be good. So yes, I don't get to determine that, right? I would do all of the things if they would let me every single time, as I'm sure Paige would and everyone else who does, especially people who do collections that actually are actively are active crafters. We would take everything they'd let us to have because that was good. Let us have because we actually like to make things with it. The sad thing is that I am working so much that I haven't even done anything with Warm Wishes yet and Fernwood, which, oh my goodness, both of them. I am like chomping at the bit. But we are doing the free Doodlebug class on Sunday. So I figure we're shipping kits out tomorrow, everything that can go out, and additional orders that have come in. We're doing that all tomorrow, Rich and I, after he gets his snow tires on. Ugh. Don't even want to think about that. And then our Saturday will be spent doing that. And then Sunday, I'll be spending it with you guys on YouTube for the Doodlebug class. So even if you don't have the Cute and Crafty, but you have something that you just want to follow along with the technique and the design, you're free to do that. If you are just excited to lock yourself into your craft room on a Sunday and you're going to make something else, finish some other kits or classes, and you just want someone to hang out with, it will be awesome. So that is at 10:30 a.m., not p.m., as my newsletter said, because I wrote it at 1 a.m. So I'm not surprised if that was the only error in there. I'm winning. So, right? Just crazy. Received your warm wishes. Shipping label created. Can hardly wait. It's created, Jill, but it hasn't been dropped off yet. We're doing that tomorrow because we have to fill the car and we have to drive 40 minutes to the processing area, and then they should ship out, I would think, on Monday. So it won't take long. So you guys will have to let me know. Everyone who in the States who will be getting kits, because they're going to Alaska and they're going to Colorado and Texas and Arizona, Utah, all the farthest places. And I manually do all of that. I have to search it out. I have to drop it into a second system. I have to do it and then manually add back all of your shipping information. So some of you are like, I'm in Texas, I didn't get a shipping notice. It could be user error because I have to manually do it. Where for all my Canadians, Shopify just does it for me. But because I ship between the US and Canada, it's just an extra step. No, they're not sold out, Darlene. The Fernwood kits, no. I don't think it will sell out today. That would be crazy talk. But I don't think they'll last long. I think about half are gone. So I think a lot of the open stuff, like the washi tape and that, is almost gone. But everything else, the kits are still there. And hi, Tara, how are you? Is there a creativation, I think is what you have there? I believe there is, but I don't think American Crafts will be doing it. So unless I go on my own, I don't think that's going to be the case. So I don't know. I would like to go to Germany. There is a huge convention or trade show in Germany that is like what Creativation used to be. And I would love to do that. I'd like to talk to some of my friends who do those shows and see if anybody's going to go, because I would like to do that one. I think it'd be fun. So any questions before we get started? I'm super excited. You're going to really enjoy. Oh, and did you notice my earrings tonight? They're pencils. Aren't they fun? They're mirror pencils. So it's like we're Friday night at the disco tonight. So it's very exciting. What are you talking about, Natalie? Save one for you. You're going to get all of it. All of my design team. You, Mari. I don't know if Nicole is here. I might have missed her. I will be packing boxes up. So I'm going to send it out next week because a whole bunch of Fernwood will arrive on Thursday. So I will pack those boxes up. You'll get lots of good stuff because you guys got to get to work. Got to get to work, right? So I thought I had ordered Warm Wishes, but looking in my history, I must have missed it. Yeah, Amber, there might be one or two left, but I just shut it all down for now because, again, all of the things that are happening is a party of one, right? So right now, I am just going to do all of those things. Did I miss all the praise for your new haircut? No, Patty. I don't think there was a lot. I think people just said they liked it. But this is the part I love. I went really short on this side. It feels good, right? Those earrings are super cute. Thank you, Robin. I love them. Question: how many stencil brushes would you recommend? I have 2 of yours. 2 is a good place to start. Depends how often you use them. But I would say because when you find them now, I'd buy them. I'd have a minimum of 3. And being that you could have one kind of for your warms, your cools, and like black and stuff. Now, I'm the wrong person to ask because I have a whole class set. I have like 30 open brushes, but I have some fun ideas that I'm working on. So just watch for that. Don't be super sad, right? Did the weekend sell out? No, it did not. It is still there. Hi, Diana. How are you? Yes, we love your new hair. Thank you. I am very excited for my tea tonight. My Ola Chica Ray Dunn. People looked all over for these because I wanted Spanish teacups. I think I sent one of these to you, didn't I, Natalie? But can you smell it? My tea tonight is caramelized pear, and it smells so good. So good. So I'm all ready to get started tonight. I think too that it depends on the size of your stencils. For the stencil brushes, yes. I didn't send one to you. I have one for you, Natalie. I thought I sent it in your last box. Remind me. I have some nice Spanish mugs for you. I thought I had sent it. Yes, Ola Chica. Valerie might have been the person who helped me find them. And so I need to do those things. But yes, this cup of tea is so good. I went on the Dutch store online, and my favorite tea, if there are any of my Dutch friends out there, is Pickwick. I don't know where else it is in the world, but Pickwick tea is divine. And I bought strawberry, caramelized pear, peach, which I love. Peach Pickwick tea is like my favorite. It's so good. So I know my friend Lael says she won't drink it because she doesn't like dirt water. And I'm like, you're a whack job because tea is delicious. Spanish cup. Tell me more, por favor. It's Ray Dunn, and you can find them. Ola Chica. I have TMO. What else do I have? There's another one. How do you say hot in Spanish? It might be that, but it's so good. Thank you, Tamara. I'm working very, very, very hard at trying to look and feel better. So thank you very much for noticing. So here we go. I'm going to flip the camera and let's get started because I know I read the chatter and some people hate that I talk so much before I turn around. That's the other one I have. Caliente. Caliente. Is that how I say it? That's the other one I have. Hot. So yes, I have a whole bunch. So let's flip the camera. And maybe next time you're in Utah, have Lil call me. I love tea. I know she's a wackadoo. Like, how can you not like tea? I love it. So I might cough a lot tonight. I don't think I've had enough water. So just, I apologize before I even start. That's the other one I have, Natalie. That TMO. And then Rich said, what does your mug mean? And it says, I love you. And he's like, how do you know that? What language is it in? I said, it's Spanish, even though the Italian is similar, just spelt different. And he said, how do you know that? And I said, because I know all of the things. And how do you not know that yet? So he laughed and didn't believe me. So let's flip the camera and get started. I'm very, very excited because I practiced what we're going to do tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Watch out for the harassment. I love it. Did you send them to me, Valerie? Because I know a couple people sent me the Spanish mugs. Or do you still have it because we haven't been able to see each other? What did she say there? Nat, he watches a Spanish series, yes, but he doesn't know any of the words. He just knows gun battle. Maybe he knows like all the drug lingo because that's all he watches. Crazy shows, right? Yay. Okay, so are we ready tonight? So this is what everybody was talking about. If you weren't aware of it, My Fernwood collection weekend event kits are up on vickyboutin.com. If you want to play along and join in on the fun, you sent a few. Those are the ones I sent to you. There are still others hostage here, but not the Spanish ones. Yes, Valerie, it's close. We're going to be able to cross the border and hang out very soon. Right. So this, if you didn't watch the walkthrough of Fernwood, you want to check it out. This collection is going to be so much fun to work with. So a lot of you guys who thought you wouldn't like it as much as color study, I think that you will. It's just a little bit deeper, right? They might be in a box here, there. Yes, because Greta is my friend here too. Between Greta and Valerie is where all of my Spanish mugs came from. But it makes sense because I have a couple of the same ones, and I thought I had mailed them to you, Nat, and I didn't. So I apologize for that. But I'll make sure it goes in the Fernwood box. I saw something. Oh, Karen, this is a great question for my friend Karen Napoli. Look, I'm going to put your question up on the board. Watch. Look at that. Karen wants to know, question, was there a supply list for Sunday? I can't find it. No, Karen. I will post that when I'm done tonight because I will do the link here on YouTube, you know, just like tonight's link was there. I'll post a link on YouTube and I will add the ink colors that I'm using because I'm using some oxide inks in that class. Let me grab the samples. Let me grab them. Here's some of them. It's not all of them. I don't know where I put the other ones. But we are going to be doing a whole bunch with Cute and Crafty. And I had taken the one that has a whole bunch of distress ink on it to match the colors. I will post it tonight, okay? So it is pretty much any ink colors that you have that are water soluble that will match this collection or whatever you're playing with, because maybe you don't have Cute and Crafty, but you still want to hang out and play along. You will want a rainbow of water soluble distress oxide colors. And I will post that, like I said, when we're done tonight, before I go to bed, I'll make sure that I post that. Okay. Yay. So thank you for asking that, Karen. I'll make sure that I get that up because I meant to do it and I forgot. Question, what 6x8 are you using in your Fernwood kit? Fernwood 6x8. That's what I'll be using. Okay. I don't think I can wait until January for that class. I know, Sandy, but think about it. We have Warm Wishes. I have the Crop and Crate event still. And then I normally take December off because I don't want to burn out. But I always come and we do a whole bunch of Christmas projects. So I thought, one, we have to kit it all. And like I said, there's 38 pieces of pattern paper in that kit, plus 8 sheets of cardstock that all has to be kitted. So by the time it's all done, it's probably not going to ship till the end of November. And by the time everybody gets it, January is just safe, right? Are you in Canada or the US? Canada. Oh, you're asking somebody else, Kari. I'm sorry. I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Sherry. Okay, so tonight it's going to be fun. So I was messing around because trying to decide how I wanted to play this. So we are going to be doing some circle art and it's going to be very fun. Okay, there's some questions. So let me answer before I get started. Question, sorry, I know I saw an email that also said you are using this kit. Will include a Simple Stories 6x8 album. Yes, it will, because I don't have an album with that. So there's an album class, there's a layout class, and there'll be a bonus class from the scraps. Okay. So yes, lots of things going on. But I think that was the end of question. I'm not going to look for a minute because I'm tired. I stayed up very late. I've been up late a lot this week trying to sort out the craziness that is Warm Wishes. and my brain is a little bit fried. So I will apologize right now if I don't make sense, because it might happen every few minutes, right? It might happen every few minutes that I make 0 sense tonight. Okay. Let's chat. Now, are you asking because where are you from? Is it Johanna? Johanna? I'm not sure if the J, I'm supposed to pronounce it or not. Yeah, just let me know. And I will answer your questions. I did get the present, Kim. Thank you very much. Look it's right here. I owe so many thank yous, and I apologize. Please don't think I'm a rotten person. But yes, I did get your bluey people. This is what we're talking about, right? They're so cute. Thank you so much. Absolutely adorable. And I apologize if you guys think I'm terrible because you've sent me gifts or cards and I have not sent out emails or thank yous. It is just the nature right now of my life, and I apologize. I do appreciate every single time you guys think about me and do that. So thank you very much. If you don't have gel crayons, you can use art crayons. You can use ink. It just has to be water soluble. Okay. So let's do the things. So I did take 2 pieces of paper and I put some gesso on it. So literally just took a palette knife, put some gesso on, and brayered the gesso out. You don't need a lot, just a little bit, because I wanted to see how will the art crayons work on a gesso background, because a lot of times you guys ask. So you do not have to use foundations paper. With the gesso, you could put it on regular cardstock. This is foundations, okay? So I did gesso too. And then I was messing around, and I'm going to also work on just a plain sheet of foundations paper. The goal tonight is to just make some art. This is going to be very relaxed, and we're just going to make some pretty art. You're going to, I think, very much enjoy this technique, and we're just going to see where it takes us. So what do you need for tonight? I'm going to be using the gel crayons because it was requested, and I thought, sure. And then I love that I had to think of what are we going to do with them. And I started messing around, and this is going to be fun. So the things that you need are gel crayons or a water soluble ink like Distress ink, or you could use art crayons. These are going to react really well because they're very soft. So even if you have Tim's Distress crayons, try that. Just try whatever you have. You know, we are all inclusive in the play. Just something that you have that will react with water. Okay. So I'm putting them back in my little cup for now. I have different cups to make circles, and I have a new pencil in case I want to put some little dots on as well. So red Solo cup, a little paper party cup, a plastic cup, and then Dixie size or shot glass, whatever you would call this. Whatever you have, and even if you don't have something that will make a circle, but you have something that'll make a square or rectangle, that will work beautifully. Okay, whatever you have. Yay! So yes, Natalie's putting a link to the Fernwood kit. I ship to Canada and the US at this time only because, again, it's one Vicki. So when you look on there, all the pricing is in Canadian dollars. For the US, the shipping is $20 Canadian, which translates to a flat rate box. Just so you know, all shipping costs have gone up. And just to give you an idea, like to ship to Puerto Rico is $30. To ship to Texas is $27. So when you're like, ooh, those shipping costs seem high, everything has gone up price-wise. Everything. Everything that I buy now, all the prices have gone up. Everything from American Crafts has gone up by 10%. So you guys are seeing it. All you have to do is visit the grocery store, and I'm sure you can see what milk and butter and all those things, eggs, cost, right? So just to give you an idea, that's how it works. The value of the kit, I believe, if you start doing all of the math in there, and plus it says bonus, I add ribbon and some twine and some other little goodies. The kit value, probably by the time you're done, is probably the 180 Canadian. So just kind of, you know, when you look at that, you get 15 hours of class time with me. It's pretty much just the cherry on top, right? So yay. Will you add more gel crayons? Probably not. It's very hard with American crafts, and my mixed media is just a kind of whatever I get to do, I'm thankful for. And what I will start to do is, if they start phasing any of the things out, is I'll just find another solution and we'll use that. So I like to use the ones that have my name on it because you guys have purchased them. So I think it's good that I show you what you can do with them. But I have lots of ideas for the coming months of different mixed media stuff to try and share with you and teach you how to use it. So if you have it in your collection or wanted to add it, we'll come up with some really fun ideas. The other thing I have here tonight, don't know if I'm going to use all of it, are some permanent inks that when I add water will not change, right? Once I dry them with a heat gun. So I have this gold one that I absolutely love from scrapbook.com. So we're going to see, maybe I want to throw some of that in there. Yay. And maybe I'll end up using some gold glaze or something. Don't know yet, or silver or something, because it might be fun to kind of fill in some of the areas. So if you're going to play along with me tonight, and I know some of you at first you'll look and go, I'm tired. It's Friday. I worked all week. I'm watching, but I'm drinking my glass of wine, laying in bed. I don't feel like crafting. Some of you play along and do all of the things. Some of you have no intention to play along. And then as we start doing it, you're like, that's fun. I think I'm going to do it too. So wherever you fit in there, we're going to have fun. Fernwood does not have a special binder like Warm Wishes, because Fernwood was created prior to Warm Wishes. So Fernwood, I have to work really hard if I can talk them into letting me have an album. So definitely will be one, I think, with any kind of specialty collections, but we'll have to see moving forward with the album if I'll have any more or not, because they're pricey. They're very expensive to make. And American Crafts is concerned that people don't buy them anymore, but I think that will prove them wrong, right? Hi, Irene. Question, are we still having the paper towel class? At some point, yes, Irene, we will 100%. But I need it easy tonight. So this is going to be fun and relaxed because I'm tired. I'm not going to lie. I'm very tired. My kids are keep me up too late at night. Hi, Keisha. How are you? I'm the one laying in bed watching. I knew, Karen. That's who I was talking to. You right there. Okay, so let's do the things. So like I said, I have some paper that I gessoed. Gesso will dry really fast, especially when you brayer it. I had done this right before we started, and it's dry already. So let's try it. I want to see what the gel crayons will look like on gesso, because some of you might not have foundations paper, and this gives you an option to give some tooth to your regular cardstock. So we have both options. So as I was playing through, you'll see I was testing ink. So I was putting down a couple of different dye-based inks to see which one would be permanent. And then as I played through, I'm like, I don't really even need the ink if I don't want to, because I found, I'm going to show you right now. So this will be our practice page. What's me too? What is, oh, you love watching. I love having you guys here watch. Otherwise, even if it was just me and Natalie, we'd still have a party, right? You're tired, so just enjoy watching. You do whatever makes you happy. You know I'm totally okay with it. So I have a cup. You will see that, like a paper cup, plastic cup, let's see how they work, right? I had to take my sweater off because that's the other lovely thing that's happening to me this week is, holy moly, the hot flashes are out of this world. Night sweats, it's just not fun being getting older. So I'm just going to color, and you can take a little bit more of the crayon out and even just use the side if it's easier. And we're going to throw a little bit of color on the plastic cup. We'll test it on the paper cup. Okay. Doop. I'm going to mist it with some water. Well, let's see first what happens when we put it on dry. So we get a little bit of pigment, but I'm off camera. I'm just misting the rim with water, but I like to do it on the floor and not on my table. And now let's see with water. So see, we get a lot more color. So I just kind of played around and we can move the rings. You also can take it and kind of shimmy the ring and then get a really cool pattern. So I thought this is a great way to start. Ooh, look it looks like tie-dye. Let's go in, clean that, and try with another color. I'll hold it up to the camera too in a second. Doo-doo. I'm going to go in with some of that blue in there too. Hi, Paula. How are you, friend? Sending you lots of love. So I'm going to do this one just on the side of the cup. I'm not, or maybe here too. I'm not going to fill the whole rim. And let's go in. This is with the dark blue. And again, I'm going to mist it with some water. And then let's put that down on here. Kind of put the ring on. And then let's see what happens when we do. Oh, I love that. Let me show you. And that, again, Vicki, how did you discover this? Literally just from playing. Would pastels work? Only if they're water soluble. But you could try it, right? You know I am always 100% party to give it a try. Let's see what happens. So we're going to do some stuff like that. And then fun things that we can do is we can color. Let's see what happens too when we go right in directly on the foundations paper and then rub. So it's going to react like a oil pastel would, but it still will be water soluble. So remember, we've talked about this a lot with art crayons and such, is why don't you paint directly on your page with them, is because it is not forgiving. Like we will not be able to now take this pattern out of the circle, but I'm going to just work with that and be okay with it. So we can just build some different pigment around. And then we also could paint off the page on a sheet of plastic or on a stamping block, and we could add the pigment in too. But I think it'll be okay for us to just go in and kind of just layer and add different patterns on here. Right? Okay, so I'm putting some more blue. I keep doing it off camera, sorry. Pulling it right in front of me. If I wanted to add still, some dark pattern on here, and because there's water on the background. So I'm going to go in and we're just going to, I'll start it on another page with different cup sizes. I want to just start building this kind of whole circle pattern. And it's going to be very fun for cards. So let's start right off with seeing how it will react on a background that has some gesso on it. Let's see what happens. So let's start with that. So this is my gesso background. I have two of them because one will do for a layout background and the other one we can just use a couple sections and we can make cards out of it. Okay. So whatever colors you want to go, if you want to do rainbow, if you want to pick a palette of like 3 colors, you can do that. So I'm just cleaning my cup off on a damp paper towel. And let's decide. Let's stay with that kind of blue, pink, and purple. I'm going to do blue, pink, and purple on here. And there's one more blue. Okay, so this is going to be my color palette on this page. Let's see what we get. Any questions so far, friends? So we have a whole bunch of different cup sizes. Let's start with thinking about how we want to build the pattern, like for a layout, right? You could do the whole page and it could be just like pattern paper that you cut apart. The other thing that I grabbed is a just scrap sheet of paper, because I think it would be fun to, in the center later of the circles, go in and we can stencil in the middle of them. So we'll create our own mask and then we can do some stenciling in the middle of some of these. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm going to start, and I think my pattern is going to be kind of up here and down here. So I'm going to leave the center of the page kind of plain. Have you played with Tim's new color? I have not, Karen, because all I've been doing all week is processing orders, packing orders. And like I said, the US ones are very time consuming because I have to transfer it all to a separate shipping company and then transfer all the information back. So that was 4 days solid of getting up and working from 8 till 9 at night. So no, I haven't, but I'm going to. It is my intention for next week. So I'm going to start maybe with a light blue. Okay. How are we doing? Are we still, is somebody on YouTube out there? Can you I just like to make sure, because when I only see Facebook comments, I'm concerned that it's not working right. So I hope that it is. So I'm going to go on and I'm going to just start creating a pattern. So let's try it with paper cup. And this background again is gessoed. Okay. Okay, good. It's working. Just when I don't see any and I'm like, I think we're good, right? I haven't lost connection. So they go on really nicely on the paper. Really, really nicely. So a little bit of mist. You don't need to soak it. I think Rich just fell off his chair up there or something. Did you guys hear that? It was very, very, very loud. And I'm going to start maybe in this corner. So let's start with one full circle and let's see what's going to happen on gesso. I think it reacts pretty well. So you could stamp as well if you want to in black. I want to add water and let's see if we will lift the pigment right off on gesso, because gesso a lot of times will tend to resist mediums. So I want to see if we go in here now wet and soften this, will it take it right off or just help with our workability? So I'm just kind of softening that. And now let's go and see what happens when we color directly on. How will the pigment move? Right? How will the pigment move on the gessoed background? Okay, so it rubs a little bit better. I want to see what happens now when I take water and start working that. Will I have, no, see? So this gives you an idea of the gesso will make it way more forgiving. Because why? Here's our learning moment, okay? So gesso is actually will resist. Like if I took a wet paper towel or baby wipe, I could probably wipe that entire circle off, because gesso will resist art crayon, the gel crayons, a lot of inks. So what is magical is by putting the gesso down, the ink or the pigment in the gel crayons is going to react differently, right? Should I check on Rich? No, he's okay. He's not yelling a Udemy or I've fallen and I can't get up. I just think he's banging the chair right above me because he likes to watch his stock car race right above me while I'm doing live. So crazy dude. So what is nice is the pigment sits on top of the gesso. It doesn't soak in like it would on paper. So you are able to move it around with water. So we're going to see two different options by using it on a gessoed background and using it on straight paper. Because we're lucky with the foundations paper, there is a little bit of a sizing on it, so it doesn't soak in like a piece of cardstock would, but it's really fun. He's reenacting the race for me. It's just very exciting, Natalie. I'm very, very excited about that. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to keep building my pattern. I'm very excited. I can't wait to see where this is going to go. And I think if you're not intrigued yet, you will be as we keep carrying on. So I like doing this because I don't have to know how to draw. This can do the work for me. Will it move once it's dry? Yes, Karen. But think, it won't move in the sense we'll rub on it. But if I'm putting it in probably for cards could be a concern. You could always put a spray fixative on it, and I think it would be fine. And I'll test that because I'm going to do a background for cards tonight. And before we actually start making cards next Friday, I will use spray fixative on top and see if that does the trick, right? Because this is like an oil pastel, so you know it's almost impossible to fix like heavy, thick oil pastel. But because we're diluting it with water, I think a fixative spray should work, and I'll test it for you. And then I'll show you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go in and just keep building my pattern here. A little bit more water. I'm going to go off the page up here with some more of the blue, jiggle it around a little. So before I start actually painting, I'm going to start doing this. So let's see. This could be fun. Can I remove this a little bit? Oh, I love it. So see what I just did there? So if I want some to look like they're underneath, I can totally take the pigment out. Love that. And then some I can put on top. Distress glaze, maybe, but I'm afraid, Julie, that because it's wet, it would move it around. It will move your medium around. I think it needs to be like a spray fixative because there's no friction. You just spray it and leave it. That the glaze, because you'd have to still brush it on, these would move. Because really, like, look at, I just totally wiped the color off. That's how easily it came off here. So I think you got to be careful. But we can try anything, right? We could try any of the things. I'm going to go in a slightly smaller, and I'm going to add some pink. And now the pink is the lightest, like besides the yellow. Pinks are the hardest, in my opinion, and maybe it's proven fact, hardest pigments is pink. And do you ever notice, like, when you buy a better art quality or better art mediums, that pinks are limited, like opera pink, like there's only like 2 or 3 pinks. I think it's the hardest pigment to make. So even in these gel crayons, in my art crayons, it does not have the same pigment load that other colors do, right? So I'm going to mist this. Let's see what it looks like. And now this is on a plastic cup, not the paper. And I'm curious to see what kind of deposit we'll get. Oh, it still worked really well. So I'm jiggling it around a little bit. And then I'm going to go in and put a solid one as well. I am going to put some red down with the pink. I don't want full on red on here. I'm going to try to make a new shade of pink, and maybe not everywhere. Put on part of the cup. And I'm feeling like when I add the water, these two should start to blend, and then we can blend it out with a brush as well. And there's a big chunk there, so I just wipe that off. And let's go in there again. Okay, and I'm going to take my paintbrush, and I'll leave that one on there. And I'm going to blend in my red a little bit, dilute it. So there is a little bit of painting in here. I'm just kind of painting, bringing this in, leaving the blue, but I am making that like little bubble. Look how fun this is, friends. Super simple. It's plastic cups that I grabbed out of the kitchen, right? Do you think it would be better to layer the pink and then a bit of red over top? Either is fine, because we're going to like mix them and blend them anyway, and I might go in with some more pink again. Okay, and we can take, if we want to, the little cup, and you could go in and put like another little circle in the middle, and maybe just with pink. And again, I don't think I'll do the full rim. just part of it. And missed it. You see a Mickey. You could totally do a whole bunch of Mickey ears on here, couldn't you? Totally could. That would be a lot of fun, actually. Okay, so there's another little circle in my circle. And I'm just building the pattern, and then we're going to come in here and we're going to paint. We're going to paint. I think that what would be fun, my idea is to paint the negative space with some gold. Isn't that going to be fun? It's going to be so fun. So I'm starting here, and now I'm going to build a little bit down in here. And I'll start again with the blue. I'm going to go in just with the dark this time. Make sure so you don't make mud. Although we're okay with the color palette I have. All these colors are made from red, blue, or a combination of both, right? So we can't make mud with this color palette. If you are going a little bit more rogue and you have thrown, let's say, a yellow in there, if you mix yellow and purple, you'll get a little bit earthier color. Okay, so just kind of keep a little bit of color theory in the back of your head. Let's go in with this one. And some of it, oops, I bet you I don't even need a ton of pigment on here because it's still on the cup. So I'm going to mist it again with water. The more water you use, the more moisture on the rim, and you'll get more like of a watercolor effect. So I'm going to try to get 2 out of here too. Let's see what happens if I do one here and what happens. Oh, see? So just shimmying it around. That's what I'm doing. Just kind of a shimmy. Just kind of makes it have this kind of little bit of an explosion look. So I'm going to just put a little bit of blue, not all over, missed it. And I want to add a little bit of blue on this one, just to carry that pigment up there. See, just a little rim of it. Put a little bit on the pink there. Love that. Carrying it around. Now the circles start to look a little bit more cohesive, not just this kind of random color placement. Okay. And now let's go in with some of the light blue, and I'm just going to keep building, friends, and I'm going to go in with the smaller circles. I always start big to small so I don't have like the whole kind of sticker sneeze effect. If you go in too small to start, it's a lot of stuff going on. If I start with my largest and then fill in with progressively smaller, you get a good effect. So let's go in now with some of that lighter blue. And I am going to start here. Maybe a little bit here because this is very dull, just with that one color blue. And then we're still going to go and paint. So I am really liking the gesso effect here. I'm glad that we have the gesso option here. It's just a very forgiving. So I'm not even going to clean this. I'm going to put my pink right on it, and it's going to make a pinky purple. I might wipe a little bit of it off. I'm a liar, just a little bit. Hi, Christine, how are you? So I am making like a new shade of purple where the blue is. Okay. Oh, very pretty. I'm just adding some more water on here. Pausing a little bit there. I don't want to do anything more in that size up here. I'm just going to fill with smaller. And I don't even know, maybe one purple. I'll go in with some purple. Okay. How are we doing? Everybody's very quiet tonight. I don't know if you're working or doing other things. Just curious, everybody's okay. It is a little bit on the quieter side. Let's go in here. I'm going to back this purple one up here. Okay, let's go in with, actually, I'm going to layer some color. You're playing. I love it. You're just fussy cutting Fernwood butterfly paper. I love it. What is that for, my friend? Let's go in with this smaller cup. And I'm going to put some of the red down first and put some pink on top of it. I will let you know that the paper cups are accept the pigment a lot easier. So if you're curious about that. For you this week coming, and Mari, the your product is coming soon, okay, guys? Between Mari and Nicole and poor Natalie, it's just the craziness that is my life, but I don't have any of it, actually, just the paper. That's all I have. Okay, I'm going to start painting a little bit, okay? But I do want some smaller. I'm going to put a couple smaller to fill, like maybe one here, a little bubble. Let's put a little bubble, purple one. Little purple one. Something that would be cool too is you could do like all of your circles in one color and then start filling in with other colors. Could be really fun. Did you say poor Natalie? Yes, that I haven't sent any product out that you guys are like, you've been using Color Study forever. I'm glad that you guys like it. Otherwise it could be, but it's coming. The stuff will be coming. Put that in there. Let's go in with a little pink. What were you doing now, Natalie? That you heard your name and you were like, what are you saying about me? Hello, Bridget. How are you? Hi, Ginny. How are you? Yay. Okay. I'm going to start with that. Start with this. And now I'm going to just start adding some pigment to the circles because I really like when we start to kind of blend it. So I'm going to put a little bit of blue in this open area here and maybe a little bit of the darker blue. So see what I just did? I deposited some color because remember, this is gessoed, so it is going to be more forgiving when I color right on the page. And I'm going to, in little circular motion, start to color inside this area. I'm going to take some of that pigment and I'm going to move it. That's a lot. So maybe here. So lots of pigment. So just be careful. Lift that off if you find that it's a lot of business going on, right? So I'll just kind of pool that in there because I didn't really want it that dark. And I just might lift it with some warm water, or with water. And I'm going to let it bleed out a little bit too of the circle. Tapping a little bit of clean water into that. And I'm going to lift a little bit of it because that's a little darker than I wanted. So just go in there and remove some of it. Remember, it's on gesso. So it is very forgiving. If you don't like what's happening, you can come in and take some of that away. So I like that better. Kind of. It's still too dark a little bit. There. Ooh, look. Very nice. Added some white back in. Very good. I have not listened to the unofficial Bridgerton musical. Is it good? I have not. And add a little bit of pink in there too. You can also lift some pigment off of your gel crayon just with your brush, which could be fun, right? So I still want to leave some white in some of these areas. And don't forget, we can take our brush and start to pull some of that pigment we deposited. Let's see how that works to soften some of these. And because I brayered my gesso on, some areas don't have a ton of gesso, right? Some areas don't have a ton of gesso. So I could take it and I can color right off of the gel crayon if I want to. And then at least I don't have such a dark amount of pigment like I did when I drew right on the page. And just tap a little bit of color in there. Soften some of that up. So I just tap some water in because I don't want hard lines. Okay. As we color, I'm going to deposit some pink in this one. Just there. Rub that in to soften it, and then I will blend it in with some water as well. But yes, the gesso works wonders. Hello, Leanne. How are you, my friend? Love it. So I'm going to put some in here. Just kind of around the outer edge of the circle. And then let's rub that just kind of in there. So discovering as we're playing as well that, and clean your finger if you're using your hand, just so you, is it clear or white gesso? It's white. It's just my gesso. The American Crafts, it's white gesso. Art crayons will work. They won't work the same, but they should work, but they have way more pigment. These are very soft, right? So they will be different, but like everything, give it a try. See what you get there, right? I'm going to put a little bit of blue in this corner. So you can see here, I didn't gesso the edge of the paper. So you can see more of the line in there, and I'm totally going to embrace that. But I am going to water it a little bit just to push that color around. So yes, when I deposited my gesso, I did not put it on all surfaces of the paper. And I'm also going to just rub that out a bit. Okay. Okay. And we're just kind of building some watercolory, pretty little globes. This one needs some business going on here. And I might end up bringing a little bit of yellow when I'm done as well. But let's put a little of the blue and a little bit of the pink. And again, now it's still wet, right? So it is working into the paper beautifully, but it also is leaving my fingerprint in there. So let's take some of the moisture out. Ooh, that's fun. Leaves a fun little pattern. But yeah, the gesso is kind of really fun for these. Soften it just like you would a oil pastel or chalk pastel. Let's go in and start building a little bit here as well. So I can blend with my finger. If we add a little bit of water, we'll soften it and start to move the pigment around. So I just put a little bit on my finger, the water on my finger, and blending that out. Now, little things, let's test. Will watermarking work on here? It should totally. So if we go in here and just put a couple drips of water and then pick it up with a dry paper towel, it should lift. Don't rub it. Just go in and pick it up. Look at that. Because the gesso resists the gel crayon. But I don't want it that bright white, so I'm going to start to blend some of that blue back into those little water drops. And I'm also want to add a couple into that pink. Not everywhere, but let's see. I might have blended it too much, but we'll see. Will it work? Yep. Okay. Any questions so far, friends? Right? So it totally will lift it. And there is gesso on the background. It's the only reason this would work. It would not work if you don't have a gessoed background, right? So I'm just going to keep blending, and then we're going to come in with some gold. Okay. I'm going to go crazy though, and I'm going to put a little yellow on here too, just because this is a little I need a little bit of more rainbow in here, I think, for me. Anyway, you do whatever makes you happy, right? It'll also earth it up a little bit in some of those sections that have a little bit of the purpley. And then I could take some pink if it's too yellow and blend that in and start to make a little bit of a salmony color. Wasn't loving the yellow, so just throw some blue down in here and we can make a turquoise. Right now watch, because like there is no gesso in that corner, so see the difference in the texture. You got to watch because you don't want to start to pill your paper. I agree. Like, I love gesso, but the thing is, I don't use it on everything, right? Because it will make your mediums react differently. So always just keep that in mind. I do love my gesso, but I don't use it on everything because it changes how a lot of mediums will react because they resist. The gesso resists, right? So just kind of keep that in mind when you're playing, that you're going to get a little bit of a different effect when you use your gesso. So now I'm just kind of layering and building some depth. I might go in with the cups again because I've lost a little bit of integrity of my circle. Like right here, I'm going to go in with that again. So let's do it. There's no reason we can't come back after you kind of mess and add again. Is that a question? What's the difference between Gesso and Mod Podge? Totally different mediums. Gesso has like a chalky finish. Mod Podge is like literally like a white glue. So it can be a little stickier. It can use as a sealant or to decoupage. Like Mod Podge is closer to multi-medium, a matte acrylic gel. And Gesso is more of a matte, adds tooth. Like back in the day, Gesso was made out of animal skin. Like you would use rabbit skin and horse skin to make Gesso, and they would put it down because if you're painting on a piece of canvas, it is very porous. So by putting Gesso down, you are prepping your canvas to accept the paint. So your paint doesn't all soak in to and wick through the canvas. So Gesso predominantly was used to prep your background. Now we'll use it because Gesso is great as a primer and a prep, but it also, we see that it kind of creates a skate rink. So when I'm layering my bits down, it's not soaking into the background, but I could wipe my medium off. So I could do this water technique as well, right? So Gesso is different than Mod Podge. And to be honest with you, I don't really ever use Mod Podge. I would buy a matte medium before I would use Mod Podge because it dries harder and it isn't sticky. And I learned my lesson in the early days the hard way. Yeah, you can get a gloss Gesso as well and a semi-gloss or matte. I only use matte Gesso, but also I am not a fan of really anything glossy, high gloss. I don't like that, the reflective nature of it, and that to photograph is a nightmare, right? So I never really ever talk about high gloss anything because I use it. I don't use it. So now I'm building my circles, right? After we soften some of that area up, I can go in and add a little bit of oomph back in. And I'm going to show you my idea in a second. I have to miss that. All right. Oh, I love it. See, bringing some depth back in there. Very fun. So let's work these circles a little bit more. I'm going to add some purple over in here. Darker pigment, so I have to be careful. So I'm going to rub that in before I wet it so that I don't have this big dark purple blob over here, and it still could happen, but we'll try to be gentle with it. Okay. See, it still went very dark because just the darker pigments. We're okay. And I don't want to overwork now the white we have here, but let's bring maybe some more of that purple in here a little bit. And this literally is just play, play, play. This is the best part. This is the best gift you can give yourself, is literally just a little bit of time to practice and play. and build your skills. Because watercolor is not the easiest medium to master, but I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. Let's put a little blue in there. A little bit of dampness on my brush, just kind of move that around. Okay. So watch, because like the yellow now, if I could take it back, I would, but maybe we can cover it with some blue. I should have just stayed with my original plan, because I don't love that now, but I have another idea anyway. We're going to go in. Oh, that I'm all right with. Look at. And I will lift a little bit of this up. Okay, I like that now. I like it. It was better. Like I can still see the hint of the yellow in there and I'm totally okay with that, but really digging actually that dark blue, I might bring a little bit more of it in because I like it. Oh, that's purple. Slow your roll, Vicki Boutin. Okay, so just building a little bit. We'll rub it. Because I like the texture on the gesso, and we'll go in with a little bit of water. Rub it. Way more water. Lots of gesso going on here, so it's more forgiving. See, just be careful when you go in with the darker colors because it gets a little bit more complicated, but something magical just happened here, and I'll show you. Because remember when I laid my gesso down, I didn't cover everything. So see how it went really dark right there? It's because there's no gesso on the page there. So it picked up the medium completely different. Are either of your kids as artistic as you? They don't want anything to do with any of this stuff, right? They don't love that. How did your son do on his big test last week? All his exams were good except for one, because it was all formulas and they weren't allowed to bring any of the formulas into the class, which makes no sense to me that you have to memorize like X over Y time, like a formula this long. So, but he said most of the class did not do well. Like the class average was not very high. But he's doing good. Devin just had exams all week and she did very well as well. And it's her reading week next week. And he's back. So they were on opposite reading weeks, but thank you for asking. So yes, I'm just playing, and this really is, out of the things that we're doing, is going to be a little trickier to master than other things that I'm doing, but really you just want to kind of play with it. It's fun, and we're not just going to leave it like this. I'm going to show you some things. So if, say, you aren't loving some of, like maybe some of the art that you're making, you aren't loving, well, I'm going to show you something in a second that we can go in and we're going to add into a couple of these. That's going to be fun. So this, I've decided I want to make this whole thing blue on top of that red. I want this circle to look like it's on top. So I'm going to go in there like that. And that makes me happy. I like that better. I can see a hint, but is it on top? Is it underneath? So I like that. Let's carry, we got to bring this yellow in somewhere. So we are going to pop a little bit of it up here because I can't just randomly not have any now. Maybe a little bit in here. Put some blue on top and try to make it that kind of turquoisey color. I'm gonna wet my finger, blend that. I don't mind that, right? Just introduce a little in there. And then we will start playing in this circle, and I'm gonna make it a darker blue. So let's just deposit. I don't think there's very much gesso here at all, so I gotta be careful. Because what will happen is I'll make a mess, and I don't want to do that. But I do want, because it's a blue and a blue, I'm going to put a little bit of this blue here to create some depth against that other bubble. Get in there. We've got to be careful because we know what happens with the darker blue, right? It is a little bit harder to paint. Clean water. I'm going to lighten that all up in here. I'm going to let it dry and just kind of marinate a little bit. And then we'll throw some of that yellow in there. Any questions so far? What is a reading week? What do you guys call that? Like March break kind of idea? Is that just a Canadian thing? Reading week? Do you not say that in the US? Oh, look at, that's fun. I want to lighten this one up too because it's too solid. So we will bring some moisture back into this and lift some of that up. But I don't want the dots from the paper towel. Very fun. Ooh, love it. So what do you guys call that? Reading week, right? Is the foundation paper wet? Only where I add the water. It's a week to prepare for exams, but both my kids' reading weeks were after exams. Does that make any sense? And Riley's exams were on Saturday, the day before Thanksgiving in the evening. Does that make any sense to you at all? Like, oh, it makes me so annoying. We have something similar over here. It's called SWAT in spring break, but it's like there's for this term, they had it, but all of their exams were before the reading week. So I don't know if the reading week is just for the teachers to mark them. I don't know what the deal is, but it used to be for us, I think that we would have it before your exam, right? So that you could study and prepare for it. But both kids had all of their midterms before reading week. So it makes no sense. Yeah, but they didn't get to prep because all their exams, right, were before the actual reading week. It makes no sense to me. So yeah, that's what happened here. She's done. She's off next week. And guess what she's doing? She's going to help me with the Fernwood kits. And that's what she said. She's like, I hate kitting paper because it is a little bit on the boring side. But I'm like, but you'll do it for me and for the money I'm going to give you. Okay. We're almost done, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fill this in, and then this one will be prepped and ready for our layout. We need some of this yellow. Make sure too when you're rubbing with your finger that your finger's fairly clean so you aren't depositing pink and making mud where you didn't want to. Okay, so just kind of be aware of that. And some water to blend it out a little bit. Very fun. Do you notice too, like the longer you're doing this, that you start to, I don't know, loosen up a little bit? I don't like where the color looks too solid. So there's where your water is very forgiving. And we'll let you pick some of that up. And then it gives it a little bit more of this kind of distressy look. Okay. So we need to do a little bit something in here. And then we can move on. I'm going to purplify that with some light blue. And some water. And then this one is more purple. Oops. Okay, just kind of play. That's very dark. So I will remove some of that. Actually, let's make the whole thing purple. And then pick some of that pigment up. Remember, it's very forgiving. And then the last thing I'm going to do before I show you the next step is I am going to go in with the cups again to just clean up my lines. Not a lot of pink. I'll have to put some pink down here. And I will add some pink up in this one for sure. Okay. See, rub with your paper towel. It will lift some of that pigment off. And I feel like I don't need to do anything else, or I'm just overworking it, right? And now let's go in with our cups to bring some depth to the top. So I'll go in with a purple on this one. Actually, purple and pink. Let's start with the pink. See if I can get enough pigment out of it to actually show up on here. How we doing out there, friends? It is a quieter one tonight, but it will be very pretty when we're done because we're going to elevate this. Okay. Oh, I love that. And I'll offset it so it's not just all there. Oh, see? Brings it to the top. This one definitely needs it. I think it was this cup. Sure. So I'm going to go in with pink, but only on the outer edge. I don't want it in here. So we'll just do kind of half the cup because I can move it around. Love it. This one needs it too. Soften that. A little action. This little cup in the middle too. See if there's enough pigment left on that. Love it. And what else? Maybe maybe, no, we did the blue, but maybe I'm going to add a little bit of dark blue on that. Let's try this one. I think it has tons of pigment on the edges. Okay. Some blue. Let's go in with a little bit of navy. And we'll be done with this part. And then we're going to do two things. Needs a little, yeah. I like it like that, but I want to soften it right there. Right there. Okay. So those are our circles. And now we're going to go in and we are going to find, I have a scrap piece of paper. Okay, and I'm going to make a mask. So I want to use it with this cup size. So I really only need to make one, right? So I'm going to take a darker ink just because it'll be easier. And I'm going to put that there. I'm going to dry it quickly with my heat gun. And I'm going to cut this out. So I'm going to cut one line like this. And we're going to cut inside the circle and we're creating a mask. Okay. So go in and cut the cleanest circle that you can. If it's a little wonk, it's okay. So for homework, I'm going to do the same thing that we did, the exact same design, smaller scale on a card, like a background for a card. But because I am running out of steam tonight, I only want to finish this background because we still have a couple more steps. And I will just repeat everything we're doing to create a background. So when we go to do part 2, right? When we go to do part 2, I will have my card background done as well. I just put, look at that. Yes, I did. I have a tattoo. They can be found. What are we asking? I'm not sure. Riley's going to the movies because I think movies are all late nowadays. So I can hear him going now. Bye. Bye. Riley, you used to come and talk to me. Neither one of them do. They used to come, right? You guys would see my kids would come and talk to me. And they no longer do. They only talk to me when they want some food or money. Anybody else out there like that? Right? Food or money. Otherwise, nobody talks to me except for Rich. And that's sometimes food or money too. No. Okay. So now see what we can do. We can go in and selectively pick a few that we can stencil on top of. So I am going to stencil on these two for sure. I might stencil on a couple. We'll see. And then we also have this. So watch. Keep both these pieces. So let's put our art crayons away. Gel crayons away, and we'll decide what are we going to do. There's lots of fun things that could happen right now, but Vicki, don't make it too crazy. So we could go in with art crayon and pick it up with a stencil brush and we could deposit it. And then at least you guys don't have to find another medium to use. I don't think Distress ink would work because guess what Distress ink will do on this? Do you guys know what will happen if I went in with Distress ink on top of this? I'll lift all the pigment off, right? Is Mari leaving? Yay! Okay, so let's try it. And I'm going to go in with a dark one. So I have a clean stencil brush here. So I'm going to pick this gel crayon. I just got a sheet of plastic. Now these are not as pigmented. You could go in with art crayon. We can try it with art crayon if we can't pick much pigment up with these, because this is a different medium. I don't know if we'll get enough color. We'll try it. And whatever stencil you want to use, okay? If it doesn't work, I will just go in with art crayon. Because I don't know if I'll get enough pigment off of there. A little bit. See? There's kind of a hint of it. But I just feel like we will use a lot of that. So I'm going to grab an art crayon in this dark blue. Okay. I'm going to mist my brush with 1 squirt of water. And I'll pick up that art crayon. And I'm going to deposit that pigment through the stencil. Fun, right? And right, a little bit of pattern. I'm going to go in and do another one as well. So I'm going to lay this one here. And let's see. Can I get enough off of here? Maybe if I missed it. Let's see. Because I don't really want you to have to pull in another medium. I misted it with some water. And I'm going to go down with the stencil. Oh, I think I'm getting a little bit more pigment just by adding the water. I think my stencil's dirty too. Just that's why the color's weird. Is it's depositing. There is green on my yellow on my stencil. So I'm making green on top of my circles. So if you're like, where's that color coming from? The stencil wasn't clean, which is very unusual for Vicki. Let's see. I don't know if I place that or not, but we'll try. I just want a little bit more. Okay. So I'm going to use clean my stencil brush, and I'm going to find a different stencil, and I'm going to deposit a little bit in there. And I also want to soften this a bit. So let's see if we watermark on that, because it's too perfect and we don't want perfect. So let's do that. Take your paper towel. And are we able to lift some pigment? Yes. So do that. Now watch what happens. And we can lift some of that watermark. So go in, lift the moisture, and then see if you can buff some of that water. Sometimes it will eat at it, and then you can just buff the water marking. Okay. I just want to soften it because it is a little on the bold side. And make sure you're not using a dirty stencil, because it really will change all of that. Okay. And I'm going to put a little pink here, but I don't want the pink to go on here. So what we can do is put that on there and then lay this on top, right? And then that will keep the integrity of that pattern. And let's go in maybe with a polka dot, right? A polka dot. I just threw stencils on the floor. Did you hear them hit the floor? I'll clean my stencil brush off, because if we add pink and yellow and green, we're going to mud. So I'm just putting some water on my stencil brush, taking that pigment off. We'll wipe this off. So another thing you could do is if you layer, watch, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you something because I think this is going to be even more fun. So let's go in here with quite a bit of pink and blend that in. And I'm going to show you something, okay? Quite a bit of pink, right? Because this one is a little bit harder to deposit the color. So now we can go in. You ready? Place a stencil, and we're going to wet. Actually, I'm going to wet the stencil brush. Okay? And we're going to lift the pigment off through that stencil. You ready? Boop, boop. Look how fun that is. I'm going to soften it a little bit. And I'm going to go in. I can do it again. Let's place it again. Maybe I can position the stencil. And I can clean up some of those circles. My stencil brush was still dirty. So that's why you're getting kind of that effect. But it can be a little earthier, right? We can go with a little bit of earthier color because that is a little unusual for me. Very fun. And let's do it on the purple. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Put my mask. Put this down. And let's blend some purple and pink. A bit of purple in here too. Remember, no gesso on the side of this paper. So you've got to be a little bit careful. And then put your stencil, wet your brush. And let's lift some of that pigment off through that space. And let's see what it looks like. Very fun, right? You could also deposit color. So let's do that. Pick a different pattern, maybe a script. Scripty script, right? And I'm just curious if my stencil brush has a little bit of that purple left on it. There we go. Okay. And I might do some of that right here as well. So mask this guy. Put this down. And just whatever I'm getting off of my stencil brush, I'm going to take. I could be lifting. I could be depositing. I'm just going to go with it. So happy with my circles, right? And now I'm going to put some drips of paint down. And in a second, we're going to go in now with some gold glaze. And I'm going to paint some gold on here now. Okay. So to make these pop, I think it will be fun to deposit some water and paint some gold around the outer edges of these. Okay, so I'm depositing gold glaze here, cleaning my brush, and I'm going to go in so I can float the pigment in, and I'm going to start just dropping some water around the outer edges. So deposit some water so you can float the gold in easily. And you aren't getting hard lines, okay? So just going to leave that there. I'm going to drip some of it on here. So it just kind of makes sense how it finishes around the edge. And I can build some depth in there too, but for right now, We'll just leave that there. Okay. Let's go in here. And I'm going to build some water. First, clean water, not everywhere, because it's going to fade into light and into dark. So in the middle will be kind of light, but I just feel like it needs a little bit more. So if we go in and put, like, I cleanly paint around the areas that I don't want gold paint to go into. So I'm leaving a little bit of a halo and float some clean water in here. It is way more forgiving to now go in and float some gold glaze watercolor, right? If you would try to do this on a dry background, you would get dark painted lines. So by going in now and just floating some gold in here is going to be so pretty. And that's totally fine. Tap, tap. Float that gold in. You can come back in and layer a little bit more. Oh, the iridescent would be so pretty and really look like it was bubbles. Yeah, if you wanted to put some in to highlight. There's not a lot of pigment in it, but you could tint it as well, which would be fun. Yeah, do whatever makes you happy. This is your art now, right? So I'm going to float some clean water again in here and float my gold glaze. Just because you can't just leave it like, right? It has to start and finish somewhere. I might have to get some more out of my jar. And as it dries, you could see some cloudy, right? It looks a little cloudy. As the pigment leaves, or the moisture leaves, only the gold is going to be left behind, right? Only the gold will be left behind. So let's go in. I'm just taking some more glaze out of my jar, putting it down. And then I will blend. Make sure you add enough water to it. You want this to be very light because I can build depth, but you don't want to start with it too dark or it can be very unforgiving, okay? So I'm cleaning my brush and let's go and float some more water and work in a different area. I'm not going to do any right in here, but I am going to do some just down here. Okay. Clean brush. Just wicking that out a little bit so it comes out to like it's darker and then some lighter gold. And I'm now going to work and turn your page, whatever makes it easier for you to paint. And I'm going to paint into this. And I'm going to bring that down a little bit more so it looks like it's kind of dripping gold. And my gold is very dark, so I will bring some water into that. I don't want that. I might actually even take some of it out. And lighten that up. I like to start light and then add in. So if it's a little heavy, you actually want your first layer to go down really, really light and then pick the sections that you want maybe a little bit more of the gold. And you could totally lift your page up as well and let it drip down. Just watch your lines don't get too hard where it's drying. And I might let this drip a little bit too. I'll let it run. Oh, look at that. It's fun. Look. Oh, love that. Do it again. Just control your water though, okay? So be careful. And then let's put some up here. So it makes sense. But you get, right? Just don't paint. I'm doing a little bit, just dry, wet on dry. But for most of it is wet on wet. Okay? Wet on wet, meaning I deposit water and then put some pigment in there. And there's no reason we can't go back in and build a little bit more gold in some of these areas. And I'm also going to just drip some gold on here too. Like this. Just so we don't have these big like open areas with nothing going on, where it just doesn't make sense that there's so much paint going on and then you have like areas of no paint, right? Like there. I might just put a little bit up in that corner. If I don't like it, I'll just wipe it off. Not much. It's just like a hint. And then to finish off, I think I have this idea that's going to be cool. So let's try it. So this gold ink from scrapbook.com is like awesome, right? So we have these like little galaxy, because don't forget, we're painting this onto a gesso background. So it is going to pool and do some weird stuff that it wouldn't do on paper. Okay, the gold will do weird stuff it wouldn't do on paper. I'm going to pretend there isn't a circle there because I kind of like the gold better. Okay. So totally digging it, love it. But some of it doesn't totally make sense without gold on it. So let's see what happens. You could take your glaze and you could ring it around the cup. I'm going to see what the gold ink is going to look like. We'll see you later. I know lots of you guys are taking off. I'm almost done. I'm going to finish this one, let it dry. And then for our card background, I'm going to repeat it over the weekends or during the week. So we'll have one for making a card as well, because we're going to make a layout from this page, and I'll do the same with a smaller cup, and we can do it for a card as well, right? So now our cup has black ink. I don't want to transfer that onto my gold ink pad. So either you'd have a second cup, or we'll just try to make sure nothing is transferring off here so I don't contaminate my other ink pad. So I'm good now. And I am going to go in here and put some gold rings in to tie my gold in. So let's just see if that'll work. I don't know if it's going to work with the ink pad or if I will have to use some gold glaze. A tiny little hint. I love it. But let's go in and see what happens, because I don't know if it's wet enough, right? Very gobby. So let's test it off before we commit it to our page. Okay, let's test it. Yeah, glad I tested it. that will work. I don't want it everywhere. And I'm going to take the small cup as well. And I lift that up right here. And let's do another. Offset rings. Kind of look fun. And watch you don't make too much of a mess. Know when to stop. And I'm going to say I better stop because I'm going to wreck it. Okay. And then I'm like, see what happened there? Let's lift that. I wrecked it a little bit, but we can make that come back. Even this. And then just know when to stop, because in a second, Vicky's going to wreck the whole thing. So just know when to stop, soften that bit, and I'll be happy. Okay. So when this dries, I want to show you, let's take some of the moisture out of it, that this is just going to have a metallic background, right? And even while I watch, like there's some things now that I want to maybe stamp on top of. Like I won't leave it just as it is. I like it. I feel like we are headed in the right direction, but I feel like the circles with this pattern needs some more action going on. But I know now is a good time to step away from it, and I can revisit it when I look at it again. Right? So now see, as it starts to dry, can you see the gold in that? I'll have to make sure I take a picture of this tomorrow because the color on my screen looks terrible. It's not what it looks like, right? But this is fun. So imagine, right? You could put like some photos here and title work. I think like little word strips sewn into here and here would be really cool, like you're journaling. Like imagine, right? Like another layer of the word strips. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like sewn onto here, look. Journal and stitch them in there. Do you see that? That will just, and then you mat your photo, maybe here, 2 photos, 1 photo, and then you still could stamp in this if you want to. You could fill it in with some more. You could cut this down a little smaller and mat it on navy, would be beautiful. Yeah. really could take it lots of different directions. Make sure you clean this up too, because if you don't, you'll have to find another sheet of plastic to use. So let's just kind of show you a closer look. Oh, it's actually, when this dries, is going to be very pretty, friends. Because I don't know if you can see that gold. Can you see that? It's actually, now that I stand up and look at it, it's very pretty. Because I'm looking at it going, I feel like it needs something else. But maybe it doesn't at all. You could do some things if you wanted to. Here, let's see. If I ruin it, it's okay. I'll just make it again. But I think it's worth it sometimes to go in. Oh, I have an idea. You ready? So I'm going to take this pencil, and I'm hoping this isn't going to transfer the black. So it's just a regular old pencil, right? And I'm going to take this and see if we do some marking. Oh, yep, look it. So the black is coming off. So let's clean it first. So I picked it up off of the ink pad, and now we'll clean it because it's cleaning the end off. I don't have another pencil, I don't think. I don't know if I have. Oh, I do. Let's just get a clean pencil. That'll work. Because look at what I just did to my ink pad. But I have a clean one. So let's do it. I think this is going to be fun. I have ideas. So get ready for them. It's going to be very fun. Just bring down some of this gold in like bokeh. It's like little bokeh gold dots. But we're also, I think, going to stencil something in here too. So you might not be able to see them yet, but I'll show you. It's very subtle, but just kind of finishes off what we are doing here. And then, yes, I need to use Tim's new Distress ink. We need to do that as well. I absolutely love it. That's going to be coming. So I'll probably post something over the weekend after I get my kits out. Yeah, I love it. And I just haven't had a chance with my crazy schedule to do anything just yet. But I will. Can you see the little gold dots? I love them. Right? Just with the end of the eraser, but it's just adding a little something. And I might go in with, I need to add like a little text. Oh, I have an idea. Let me get my handy dandy script, stamp, and watch. And that will finish this. You know what this reminds me of? Like, it looks like Alibaba. The colors, for some reason, make me think of Aladdin. Okay, script stamp. And watch. So I don't want a rectangle of ink. Okay, so we're going to wipe some of that off. And we're going to stamp. Yes, I love it. So let's take that. Okay, and I'm going to put some up here. So we want that wiped off. We will stamp it there. And then right on the edge. I don't want to stamp it crooked. Oh, you see now how that tied it all in? I love it. I'm going to put a little bit right maybe here. Yeah, let's try that. Kind of in that centerish area. But you got to be careful because you don't want a rectangle of ink, right? So clean your edges up and just kind of break up your stamped bits. So there is a very subtle gold bit stamped there. Oh, look at that. That's what it needed. So I will have to photograph this because I don't know if, can you guys see it at all? I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to take my phone down. Okay. So sorry, I'm going to jiggle you for a bit. Because let's see if you guys can see it better when I hold the phone. Can you see that gold? I think that you can, right? It is there, but it's because it's reflective, right? Can you see it there? That it's hard to read. But I will make sure when it dries, I will take a photograph of this so you guys can see. It just kind of tied it all together because otherwise they were just kind of dancing around on the page, right? And then the rings of gold tie it in that I used the medium. This is very different for me, I have to say, right? You get to see my mess everywhere. Not typical Vicki colorway, but we'll make it typical. I can't wait to do this on a card. And here's the other thing is this is the first time I'm just playing with this, brand new, haven't done it before. So when I go to do it on the card, it's going to have a whole different effect. But I do think that this would be pretty if I trim it down and it is mounted on a dark background and then put some kind of fun pattern paper on it. And then like think a title block, maybe some butterflies flying in there. Do I have any die cut butterflies just to show you? Because I always have crap laying around here from previous weeks. I don't. I only have leaves. But you see what I'm saying? By now layering something on top, using this as a base, it could be very pretty, my friends. So I got to figure maybe stars. We'll do stars so we don't do the butterfly route because I'm sure I drive you crazy sometimes. What is that gold ink called? I'll link it, but it is called metallic gold. It's scrapbook.com. It is a very good ink color. And I will link it, but you'll see that already my share sale links are on the page. So if you just follow any links from any of my posts, it will work, even if you aren't linking directly to that specific product. So if you do want to use my share sale links, it is super helpful to me, right, with doing these Friday night lives. But it is definitely not a prerequisite. Okay, I'm going to flip the camera around. Hi, that was a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed that tonight. Like I said, I'm going to do the same thing in, oops, sorry. See, it's hard when it's this white, not for my lights not to blow it out. But I'm going to do it in smaller, a smaller fashion for a card, but the same idea. I'll put the circles up in the top corner and down in the bottom corner, and we will just do everything smaller scale to repeat this, probably in a slimline again. I've got a thing for slimline cards, and it will certainly be cut out and matted on the front of a card. I'm going to use the exact same color palette and everything, but I might do it a little differently. I might paint some like gray in there and put the gold on top of it to make it pop more. So because it's already 10 o'clock, I won't do it tonight, but I'm going to do what we've seen here I'm going to do for a mat on a slimline card. So next week, when we now elevate this and take these backgrounds, instead of it just being like, let's do mixed media, and then you look at it and go, okay, that was fun, but what do I do with it? Next week we'll show you, and this is what you make out of it. So a lot of fun. It gives you, if you didn't play along tonight, gives you all week. You do not have to use gold. You could have done that in a different shade of gray. Gray could be really cool. You could do it in black if you wanted to, right? You could definitely do it metallic. If you have metallic acrylic paint, you could use that. So you don't have to have everything I'm using, just a version of it, right? But a lot of fun. But this could be awesome on black. Or if we would have painted the background in those open spaces black first or gray and put the gold on top of it, could be really yummy. So some ideas. I hope you enjoy that. Does anybody have any questions before we say goodnight? If you have any questions, I'll be happy to explain or help. But look at, we deposited with the gel crayons. We lifted off of the gesso because it resists gel crayons. And then we put pigment through stencils by creating masks. And then we masked our circles and laid the mask on top and stenciled. Like, there is a lot of technique in this, and it's a lot of fun. And I feel like this was kind of my practice. The whole fun part of doing this is you really should be prepared to repeat these techniques of every single one of these videos that we do more than one time, because every time you do it, self-discovery and learning new techniques will happen. The magic happens literally through practice and play and being very repetitive with your techniques. So your takeaway, I would hope today, is this was fun. I'm going to try it. And then I'm going to try it again. And I'm going to switch my colorways and I'm going to try it again. And what will happen if I did this with light colors on a dark background? And you will start to master mixed media and artful techniques in no time flat, literally just by giving yourself permission to play. So that is what I hope you take away from this tonight. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for every single one of you who went to vickyboutin.com and are going to be participating with us in the Fernwood weekend Lollapalooza event in January. So if you didn't know that, on vickyboutin.com, the kits are available, at least right now. And if you live somewhere that I don't ship to and you are buying your own Fernwood, just know that you have an idea. Like, there's 38 pieces of paper. Pattern paper. It's all Fernwood. I just buy in multiples. Some patterns I think would look great on the layouts, will look great on the albums, will make great double page layouts. So you can still participate and play closer to the date. I will do access only, and you can come and be a part of that weekend even if you aren't purchasing the kit. I just wait until the instructions and everything are done before I post the access only. So have a great evening. Have a great Saturday for my friends that are in Australia and New Zealand, and a great week. Join me if you would like on Sunday on YouTube for the free Doodlebug Cute and Crafty class. I'm going to be teaching all the layouts I made with Cute and Crafty, and it will be at 10:30 Eastern time if you'd like to join me. If you're watching after the fact, it will definitely be recorded and you can come back at your leisure and watch that whenever you want as well. But that's it for me tonight. As always, thank you so much. Take time to play this weekend. It's good for the heart and soul. And we will see you, if not this weekend, next Friday, when we will elevate this technique and create a card and a layout. So have a great weekend. As always, thank you so much for joining me, friends. And we'll see you later. Bye, guys.